Hi folks, welcome to your MWIS Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Now, I've already been seeing significant winter conditions through this week. Eastern Scotland in particular, substantial snow depths have been accumulating there, and that story just ongoing in the days ahead. The week ahead is looking an absolute classic in terms of a major wintry outbreak across the British Isles. Easterly winds prevailing for several days ahead, very low temperatures in place, and some further substantial snowfalls to low levels coming in on that easterly flow. The whole situation not changing too much until at least later in the week. Let's start off with a look at the snow depth forecast. This a snapshot at any one point in time over a 6-hour period going forwards according to one of the forecast models, and already shows the extent of significant lying snow across the Highlands focused towards the east, and it's a remarkable sequence as we take it forwards. We're pretty much going off the scale of what this chart has got on it. 50-60 centimetres is the redder colours that appears. You bear in mind that this modelling has a reasonable handle on what's going on, but it's a coarse resolution. It won't pick up the absolute detail of the mountains, so in places you could add quite a bit to this, and that's even before you start thinking about the drifting. Now let's take it on through Saturday, things showing up a bit more across the hills of the borders, the Cheviots, the North Pennines, as temperatures and freezing levels begin to lower here, and precipitation becoming more constant as snow even to some lower levels. This onwards into early Sunday, things showing up across East Anglia by that stage as we're all getting into the very cold air by that time. Let's just keep the sequence going because things really mounting up across the eastern side of the Pennines, extensive lying snow even into lowland parts of central England, the hills of East Wales too, as the easterly flow gets that far across, likely also to see some snow there. Very little out towards western coasts, as you can see, even through into Tuesday. But the eastern side of the Pennines really join in with the fun that eastern Scotland has had for sizable snow depths likely there, all the way down to the Peak District as well, very likely, and it's all still in place across the eastern side of the Highlands too, with all that easterly wind still piling in yet further snow. That's the story through till Thursday. We still have some more across the Midlands, and that might be as a frontal system begins to pivot in from the south, running into cold air and giving some additional snowfalls for places that may not have had it up to that point. So you can see the story of the week really, and this is just taking you through a week ahead. That's by Friday the 12th. Maybe just subtle changes to the south of Britain, but across northern regions and the mountains there's still the indication of substantial lying snow. This chart shows you the freezing level, and that's the height of 0 Celsius in metres. We've got the scale at the bottom. As we start Saturday, the very coldest areas in existence across Scotland, with much of the terrain frozen to the glens upwards. Across Pennine areas, you're probably starting off just at or above freezing point to the higher mountain slopes. Across Wales, it's somewhere around 600-700 metres or so first thing. As we take the story on through Saturday daytime, though, you just get the sense maybe that the colder air encroaches further southwards, particularly by Saturday afternoon, as colder air begins to advance in from the east, and with some precipitation that's falling, the whole thing just acts to chill the air, and those temperatures and freezing levels do just begin to lower, so that by the end of the afternoon you may well be seeing snow falling to low levels across much of the Pennines and the Peak District, especially into the evening time. The intensely cold air then really extensive by the time we head onwards into Sunday, and we get to a point where much terrain will be frozen, even to all the lowest levels across the lowlands of Britain as we head into the start of next week. So the freezing level itself actually almost becomes irrelevant, because you're practically sub-zero to the lowest levels upwards all the way through the daytimes. I'll take it on though, just to show you that sequence. This is just very quickly through Monday daytime, that cold air, the shaded background indicating frozen terrain. That's Monday, that's Tuesday. You can just get the sense that we're in the deep freeze. Plenty of fun and games ahead then in the charts through the days ahead. It's the first really big easterly since the so-called beast from the east 3 years ago. A similar sort of weather regime in many respects. Synoptic charts then, this is for Saturday first of all. We have high pressure to the north, we have low pressure to the south, that easterly flow coming in, and it's a powerful one with some very strong and gusty winds, gale or near gale force across most of the hills of Scotland and northern England. Lighter winds comparatively for Wales. We're still bringing in snow to the eastern side of the Highlands, and a little complicated frontal zone across northern England too is producing some more constant falls of precipitation. Initially, a bit of rain or sleet at the lowest levels around the Peak District, but as we saw with those temperature charts, that idea of that turning more readily to snow to lower levels, it may well be snow much of the way through across the higher ground of the North Pennines, that already in existence early in the day. And little clusters of showers that exist across Wales as well within a little pool of colder air could well fall as snow to low levels here at times through the day, but those a bit hit and miss, some places in Wales getting away with a largely dry day. Western Scotland too also escaping with the shelter from that easterly wind. Into Sunday, and we're all in that cold air. The easterly flow is extensive, extremely low temperatures in existence then across all the mountains of Britain. The very highest Scottish mountains probably below -10 on Ben Nevis and Cairngorm Summit. Extreme wind chill conditions, likely to be feeling as cold as -25 or -30 in direct exposure to the wind on those very highest tops, but it's severe enough even lower down in terms of the chill factor. We're just getting a stream of snow showers coming in from the North Sea, so those will affect eastern hills much of the day. Western regions more in the drier, brighter conditions comparatively, and a little frontal system across the southeast of England is what's going to bring a few headaches down there in terms of some snowfall to low levels as well. Now, not too much will change in the detail of the forecast as we go through the early days of next week. It's an easterly wind that prevails. It's a strong easterly wind. The very low temperatures stay in existence. We're dealing with daytime maxima really struggling to get above freezing even in many towns and cities across the heart of Britain. So across many of the upland regions, the valleys themselves will be staying a degree or so below freezing likely throughout the daytime. And overnight, any shelter and those temperatures will fall rapidly away. Highland glens could well be down below -10 or -15 in a few spots if you're completely sheltered from that wind. Further snowfall coming in off the North Sea, then it's one of these situations where slight variations in wind direction coming off the south of Scandinavia will funnel areas of snow showers in constantly in bands, so some places seeing prolonged, substantial, heavy snowfalls not too far away may see that bit less. Exactly where that's going to be from day to day next week is going to be tricky, but many of those eastern regions from the hills of the north of Scotland down as far as the Peak District likely to get significant lying snowfall. There isn't too much different we can say about Tuesday. Another area of low pressure just around toward the southwest, but we're in that easterly flow, very cold conditions and further bands of heavy snow showers merging to something more constant coming in from the east. Perhaps just a lessening of the easterly flow by the middle of the week, maybe east by southeasterly and the wind easing somewhat, snow showers and flurries maybe a little bit less prevalent by this stage, and just the first hints of something changing slightly as low pressure and some fronts just starts to show itself to the southwest of Ireland, which may just bring some differences to the pattern by the end of the week. For Wednesday itself, though, still a very cold day. So watching what happens in the southwest approaches as we go to the later stages of the week. What happens to this little area of low pressure remains to be seen. It's going to try and run into existing cold air. As it does so, the fronts associated with it may well bring some widespread precipitation, which will be extensively snow on its leading edge as it arrives in the cold air. It may just begin to lift temperatures from the southwest with time, but it'll take a while for any of that to reach the northern half of Britain. So it's southeasterly winds that look the most likely in the later part of the week. Temperatures lifting comparatively to where we will have been at the start of the week. By next weekend, again, frontal systems having a go at moving in from the Atlantic. We may just get back into a situation more or less where we've been this week, where it's that battleground of some milder air approaching from the southwest, the colder air that hangs on towards the north and northeast, and some further snowfalls would be likely. It does just look as though the most intense of the cold outbreak will have passed by this time, though. So a very interesting week of winter weather ahead. Enjoy it if you can. Stay safe out there. That's been your NWIS Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.